Hi guys, how you doing? Welcome to the Newcastle United training ground. I'm here inside the indoor hall today, and that is because it's Carabao Cup final access day for the host broadcasters, and obviously we've got the game live on Sky a week on Sunday, so we've been in here today doing a variety of interviews. We've got content coming up. I've done a one-to-one interview with Eddie Howe, the Newcastle manager. Also Alexander Isak's done an interview with Sky, and so has Jacob Murphy and Bruno Guimaraes. So yeah, that is why I'm up here today, but I thought I'd just come on and do a little bit of an update after the really sort of disappointing news over the last 24 hours or less. The Newcastle will be without both Lewis Hall and Anthony Gordon for the Cup final, and as far as Lewis Hall is concerned, until the end of the season. Look, a hammer blow for Newcastle without a doubt, missing both players down that left side who have created so many chances and just been key to what Newcastle have achieved so far this season. I think for Lewis more than anyone, he's been brilliant. He was probably going to get into the England squad for the matches after the Cup final, and he's been arguably one of Newcastle's best players this season. So a huge blow to him that he's not just missing the Cup final, but he's out until the end of the season and will need surgery. As I say, I've just spoken to Eddie Howe there, and look, Eddie Howe said, look, he really feels for him because it's a difficult time for him with everything he's got coming up, but he will come back stronger. And I think, look, we all know at his age and with his ability, he will without doubt come back stronger. Also last night I put something out on X, a line out that the club had decided against appealing Anthony Gordon's red card in the defeat to Brighton on Sunday, and the reason for that, I understand, is because they were worried that if they did appeal it and it was deemed to be frivolous, he would have then had another game added on top of that, and that is something that the FA have power to do. So I think Newcastle have managed to look at it from a variety of different other angles and felt that there probably wasn't grounds for an appeal there. And look, I've seen a lot of replies to my tweet on X. My post on X, should I say, people saying, look, why not just try anyway, you might as well try. Well, I think Newcastle felt that it was going to be a waste of an appeal. The FA would have probably seen it that way, and he would have been given an extra match on top of the 3-match ban. And look, they would want Anthony Gordon back as soon as they possibly can. So yeah, look, I've spoke to Eddie Howe just now. I have to say, he was in very good fettle given everything that's happened over these last couple of days. I think he's trying to take it on the chin. He did say jokingly that he feels like he's been in a bit of a washing machine over the last couple of days. But look, this is what makes Eddie Howe a world-class manager. This is what makes him perfect for Newcastle, because he's been hit in the stomach twice there in the space of 24 hours, and yet he's coming back in today, smile on his face, and look, he says, look, I'm trying to put a positive spin on this, or I'm trying to look at it positively, should I say, and the positive is there's opportunities there for other people to come in and make themselves heroes, and that is the exact way a manager should be dealing with things. So yeah, I came up here today worried, thinking there might be a bit of doom and gloom. There's also a lot of rumours on social media about injuries to other players and this, that and the next thing, but I have to say the way he dealt with that today was a manager who's looking positively towards the Cup final. Also managed to have a quick hello with the likes of Bruno Guimaraes, Fabian Schär, Sandro Tonali, who were in doing some media commitments today ahead of the final, and I have to say the mood around the place is very good, despite what's happened to Gordon, Hall, and despite the cup defeat to Brighton at the weekend. Look, I think in football you need to just park it and move on. You can't let it linger, because then it can seep into the rest of your season. And I think once the cup final comes around a week on Sunday or a week on Saturday when the players travel down, I think what's happened over the last few days will be at the back of the players' minds, and they will be going out there trying to win you guys a trophy and end that 70-year trophy drought, of course, that's gone on for so long, and they want it as much as anything else. Also on Alexander Isak, he's here today. As I said, he was doing an interview, moving very freely. He had a smile on his face, and he seems in high spirit. So any worries that Isak's done himself any lasting damage, for me, doesn't seem to be the case. Managed to have a quick word with him. He said he's fine, ready to play next weekend, and yeah, so barring anything happening to him against West Ham on Monday night, you're going to have a fit Alexander Isak up against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup final. And look, Alexander Isak, if anyone can win a game single-handedly, it's him. And I think, you know, Newcastle will always have a chance of winning a trophy in a one-off game when you've got someone of his ability leading the line. And look, as well as Anthony Gordon's done in recent games, and in recent months, the last few games he has been a bit off it, I have to say. I felt it was petulant from him on Sunday. He's, you know, as much as you feel bad for him, you need to take that out of your game, because if you've got that in your game, things like this can happen. And look, I think he'll look back and he'll regret that. He hasn't been that. He's been off of it a little bit recently. You know, his body language hasn't looked great at times, and in some games he has been really good, but that inconsistency isn't what you want ahead of a cup final. And I actually think if Joe Linton is back and you get a good 70-80 minutes in his legs against West Ham on Monday, I would play Joe Linton wide on the left in the final, where Gordon would normally play, and allow him to get back in and help the likes of Tonali, Bruno and either Willock or Miley in midfield. Remember, him and Willock played that position so well the season before last, dovetailing together, and they did so well that, you know, get them back in the cup final together. And I just think that probably gives Newcastle more balance, more solidity, and gives them a better chance of keeping Liverpool out. I just, you know, maybe a front three of Murphy, Gordon and Isak defensively isn't as good for Newcastle, and having Joe Linton in there gives you that bit more work rate, that bit more security and defensive nous in a game like that. So it might not be the worst thing. I think Hall is the bigger miss out of the two, because he's been terrific all season long. Hammer blow for the player, but at least Newcastle have got Kieran Trippier who can come in. With Trippier and Livramento at fullbacks, you've still got two class players there. And, you know, let's wait and see what happens. Botman might be ready. We don't know yet. He was here, he was at training today, so let's see how that goes over the next week. A week is a long time in football, it really is, and there's every chance he might be okay by this time next week, or at the start of next week. So let's see how we're looking going into the West Ham game on Monday. But yeah, thought I'd just give you guys that update. Obviously there's a bit of a cloud hanging over the place, but I have to say, being up here today, speaking to Eddie, having a quick chat with one or two of the players, I don't get that sense at all. There feels to be real positive vibes coming from the place, and they're ready to go for the next game. And that is just my honest feeling, having been around the place for a couple of hours this afternoon. So Isak okay, of course. Hall out, as the club announced this morning, till the end of the season, blow, and Gordon decided against that appeal, so he'll definitely be missing. But Newcastle got players who can come in, and it's decent players in the shape of Trippier and Joe Linton, so it's not all bad. Anyway, that's it from me, guys. Thought I'd just give you a little update here from the training ground, and I'll see you on the next video, hopefully before West Ham on Monday night. Leave your comments below. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.